Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. We're going to be talking about the Twilight Zone. Here we are, Season 1, Episode 6.
As it appears on Netflix.
Yes, as it appears on Netflix. This one's a little stronger than last week's episode.
Oh yeah, we're back in what I would call
the swing.
The prime Twilight Zone, or peak Twilight Zone sort of, sort of shit.
I like the scenario a lot more. It gives me more things to think about and talk about. But I do think the main character was a bitch.
It was great.
Where I'm like, these are not problems I would face.
It's amazing.
He like literally freaked out over the course of like 4 days. He's like, oh, I can't take it anymore. I've lived all there is to live. I've thrown myself from a bus and from a train and from a plane and automobile.
14 accidents. 14 accidents. What was his wife's name? His wife had everything about this was so great of like the time period, just the way he spoke. And
the best line so far in any Twilight Zone. And we've only watched 6 so far. It was in this episode.
Okay.
It was, "You're a potato pancake."
You're a potato pancake.
I will use that in life now.
I also liked going around whispering, making me think I'm sick even when I'm not, and I am. Something like that. It was amazing. This guy was amazing.
He was good, except I thought his later half was bad.
Like, he was supposed to be bad. He was like a bad person. He was like, I really liked that because he was unsatisfied with his current state of affairs. He dramatically changed them in a way that he reckoned, and Satan reckoned, would completely solve all of his problems. But it turns out that isn't how life works, and it's kind of interesting. I like that he was still, like, all of the things about him that made his mortality be a super big problem were equally problematic when he was immortal. He was not just immortal, he was indestructible, and he was still like, this sucks.
He's such an idiot.
It was so dumb.
They danced back and forth on what immortal meant, because he's like 5,000, 10,000. Well, you won't die for quite some time.
Yeah.
It should be never die would be the word if you're immortal.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, so you get my soul when I die, but I'm immortal? I think I found a loophole, kid.
No, man, the escape clause.
Yeah, yes. If I ever say I want to die, you get my soul.
Yeah, no, the point of this is that the devil knew that he would fuck up and that he'd
I
get
guess
his
this
soul.
is that dude specific. Because for me, if you were like, all right, dude, you're going to be invulnerable, you're going to be immortal, but if ever you say I want to die, I get your soul, I would sign right now.
Of course.
I would never die. I would be fighting crime. I'd be like surfing the cosmos on like a surfboard. I'm like, bitch, I'm immortal. I can't feel no pain. I'm a fine, intelligent life. Like,
tastes like lemonade to me.
And that, I really hope that was true.
Right?
I want him to be so immortal that drinking poison is delicious.
Excellent.
Like, it's such good lemonade, he's not even thirsty after. That's good lemonade.
It doesn't cause you to be more, thirstier because of the tartness.
The ammonia, cuts down on that. But this is a wonderful, wonderful scenario to be in, and he took it as such a curse, and that made me angry.
It was infuriating, but I do think it was, like, specifically tailored to him.
Yes, it most definitely was, because he was such a
up.
hypochondriac, they knew he would go, ham the other direction and screwed it up. His wife, like, I don't even know how he met this woman. No. She seemed like a saint. She's taking care of this crazy idiot.
I know.
Like how? And if he's always been a hypochondriac, how did he ever meet her? Was she like his nurse originally?
And how did he like make enough money to like have a life or whatever?
He looked roughly the same age as the last week's guy.
And they said he's 44.
And this one was 44. Yeah.
I had that exact same thought because we talked about it.
Yeah.
His his like hair was getting lighter, or maybe just was lighter or whatever. So you could have thought that that he might be graying or whatever. But,
yeah, hard to say with the black
and white.
In the black
and white,
yeah.
we don't know. No, yeah, this is one of those things that comes up a lot with like immortality bullshit, and everyone's like, "Well, yes, but everyone you've ever loved, you have to just only watch them die." I'm like, that is not an issue. That is not a problem at all. There are literally no downsides to this.
No, because that's something, and people have said this all the time, because I've often argued on behalf of, like, I'd like to be immortal, I'd love to blah, blah, blah. And people always say that. They're like, oh, but you'd have to watch your family. I'm like, if you're lucky, you have to do that anyway.
Yeah, you're going to watch several of them die anyway.
If you live long enough,
potentially
you're going to watch them die anyway, but then eventually, you know what's going to happen? You're going to die too. This way, especially, they said, and you're going to look the same.
I know.
Like, all the things that would usually be like the monkey paw wish, like, well, you're going to turn to a puddle, you'll be a living nothing, like, none of those things were his issue. So he could just, no, I start over. I moved to another country, I live there now for 100 years, and then I move somewhere else. Live there for 100 years. Probably more like 40 years is the most realistic thing you do. Just, oh, he's real well. 92.
If you're not in like the public eye, you could probably just slink around and do your thing.
I think eventually, like, yeah, but what would really happen? It's not like you'd be shopping at the same bodega for 30 years and they'd be like, hey, you have not aged. You can just, like, A, what are they going to do? Call the police? He's aging well. And B,
he looks the same.
There would just be turnover of employees after a certain amount of time. You'd just be that guy again.
Yeah, the guy who works at the dry cleaners would die, and then that would be your out. It would be like, well, whatever. No, I mean, it gets harder with, like, modern stuff, but this is so old, and this completely, because that's the whole, all those things that you've mentioned where it's like, he wished for eternal life, but he forgot to wish for eternal youth, or he wished for eternal life, and then, with his hubris, he got stabbed, or like, he was a prisoner in his own home because he's like, I'm too afraid, what if I fall down? I want to live forever, just like as I am.
Even if I was sentenced to life in prison, I would run that fucking prison.
The prison would eventually crumble down to dust.
There's an ICP song. Are you familiar with?
No.
It's a song. I think it's called Juggalo.
No, and how dare you?
And it's about a man, and he has to find 3 things before he can die. So like he is invulnerable, immortal until he finds these 3 things. They're his quest, and when he finds them, he will die. And he fought in the Civil War. He did he's been around forever, and he gets thrown in jail for something. I forget what it was, but he's thrown in life in jail. And he's like eventually let me go. They forgot what they put me in for. He's like, they couldn't hold me on nothing, and he got out. And I'm like, that kind of thing would happen. I think a life sentence does have years associated, because that's how you can serve 48 life sentences, right? Like.
Okay, but
like people have got off life sentences on parole. Like you served 60 years and they let you out.
There's parole always, and sometimes you just
not always. Life in prison you'd think would be like, nope, that means your life, the full extent of your life.
That's life without parole, which is what they actually sentence them to here.
I guess.
There's like parole, and sometimes it just, they sentence you to 263 years in prison, and that just is life because of whatever. I think if they say life, they mean you're not allowed to leave unless it's parole or whatever. But the point is, if you're not only immortal, like you don't die normally, if you're also invulnerable, prison is not really a big problem for you long term. And when I say long term, I mean you have more than enough time. Like they framed it up here like this is going to be really bad for him, and I understand that maybe in the 50s with the limited creativity or whatever, it would just be really bad for you. But no,
prison, like there's a lot of things you can do. It would be like a shitty summer camp, but without any of the bad parts, because you're an immortal. Nothing can hurt you there.
Nothing to worry about.
Like, you meet a couple guys you like, put them in your corner. You fight if someone tries to hurt them. And you have fun your whole day. After like 3 fights where you get stabbed, nothing happens, no one's fucking with you again.
No, I know. And like that's honestly my only fear with his exact scenario. Because like, what if he gets the electric chair and doesn't die? Like someone's eventually going to notice.
So they added something in like when you got sentenced to hanging. So back in the day we didn't have electric chairs, we had hangings. But like sometimes you would hang and you wouldn't die. You would just like get knocked out. They'd cut you loose. They'd figure out you were dead, and they let you go because your sentence was to be hanged.
And you were hung.
Then they had to add to that hung until dead.
I remember that phrase vividly.
I don't think I feel like you will go to the electric chair. Like I don't know if it says like electrocuted till dead because no one lives through that.
It doesn't say zapped in the chair till dead. So you get out on the loophole. Yeah, I at a certain point, and like maybe during this time period where where this was made, this was not as big of a concern. I would worry that like the guys that come for ET would like come for you, because like
maybe, but they couldn't cut you. They couldn't do anything.
No, I know, but they can still do other things. But because you're not super strong.
No, but nothing because of the specific stipulations of his contract.
Yeah.
What could I'm him right now, and you run the government. What could you really do to me? Period.
I mean, they can like lock you up, kind of like you were locked up in prison in some weird, horrible place where they're doing weird tests or something like that.
But like none of those tests could actually hurt you.
No, but it would suck.
It would suck, but I feel like that's almost a better scenario.
Your only out is to like wait it out.
My thought is if the ET people come and they're like, all right, we gotta test you. I'd be like, I want to work for Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I can't die. Drop me anywhere. No parachute. Just fucking drop
Captain
me.
America. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Let me go Rasputin these bitches.
And here I am.
That's entirely possible.
And I think within like 4 minutes, like of talking to any general, that would completely happen.
Sure. That's if you can get that to work out, that might be good.
I'm a very lucky man.
luck's important in this scenario because like you're dealing with a very
Do you know
large
how much
time
crime
scale.
I could fight in the 1960s?
All of it?
Oh my God!
I feel like just all of it.
The thing I learned from this episode was that those holes in the centers of apartment complexes are called light wells.
Okay.
I like that. I've never heard that terminology.
Yeah, I probably didn't
cool.
know the name, but yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense. It's a well letting light in. I like that when she dropped down, it looked like tuk, 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 and the lights turned on in the apartments.
I feel like that was like a really hot fucking shot for them to like composite together.
It made me
like
think.
That.
I wonder if this was a shot, like an actual shot, or if that was like a miniature.
I feel like it was. I feel like it was like a very hot.
Miniature.
Like this is our set piece here. We're doing this thing.
Yeah. Any good episode of Twilight Zone is something that gives me like thoughts and like how I would game the system. Like I'd love there'd be like you go through the 5 seasons of the Twilight Zone and you could cherry pick like 7 dudes and make the Twilight Warriors.
The Twilight Zone Warriors.
Yeah, you could make it like a team because there's enough of them like oh, what does he do? He wishes people into the cornfield. Oh God, what does he do? He's invulnerable. What's he? Invisible. What does he? Can stop time. Like
I was gonna say, yeah, there's probably all that stuff. This guy doesn't have glasses, can't read.
He's not the best, but we had to have 7.
There were only 6 good ones. Fuck. Yeah.
I'm gonna make mental notes as
Please
to what
do.
my team is,
and record the episode numbers, and we'll put it on a thing.
Sure.
On a placard. How'd you feel about the devil in this?
I like the devil.
I
like Fat Devil. I like again like they have to allude. They can't say I go by many names. What isn't a name? But when he stamps, it's the fucking pitchfork.
They do say devil in this, so it kind of ruins. It kind of ruins my whole theory. Yeah. He says, "You're the devil, aren't you?" And then he says something like like evasive, I think.
Oh yeah, but they never confirm. They're not allowed to confirm.
He doesn't quite say, "Yes, my name is Mr. the Devil."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Beelzebub.
There's in the new Doom, what is his name? S. Hayden.
S. Hayden?
Yeah. Satan.
I know, I don't like it.
Is it Hayden? It's
that
something.
That doesn't really flow properly for me.
I did not actually play this game, but I heard that there's a dude where they use some sort of like initial in his name and it comes out like
it
Satan
should be like Esatan or something.
Don't think about it too hard. I think it's Hayden. Hayden? Something like that. Something that would make sense.
Oh, Hayden would make sense.
Just picture it making sense. I haven't gotten to that part of the game yet. I only played for 1 session and it was magical and I just wanted to leave it alone.
I'll allow it.
So, and I liked his dumb name, Cadwallader or whatever it was.
What'd you like about that? Just that it's a weird...
It's impossibly weird, and he was like, this feels good, doesn't it? Like, he was like Satan should be enjoying himself, I feel like, in general.
Well, yeah.
And that's what I liked about the Satan.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was a Satan making deals like this?
So you could somehow trick him into getting this same bad deal for that guy, but it's good for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There's a whole numerous ones, really. But this is the best deal you could possibly get.
This is weirdly
because like anyone who wishes for wealth, it's like, well, wealth is fleeting, and your life is also. But like this is like I could acquire wealth, I can do anything.
No, this is like the wish when everyone's like wishing and hoping and betting and gambling and fate and destiny. Like this is it. Because not only is it like, I don't want to die, but it's like, I don't want to die, and I also want dying to be impossible by any, like, random, like, like it's completely, that's all anyone should ever want.
It's not even like he gets cut in heels. He's fucking scratchless.
Yeah.
He's perfect. This guy could move to Africa and just like take over all the warlords' positions and just like that was what my real thought is.
Riding an elephant.
Is for like if you have something like this and you're like trying to because America's really hard because like it's like I gotta keep forging paperwork and this and that. But going to like a third world country, like just like backpacking around Europe, like just do whatever you do.
No, because like just hanging out, is kind of fun and it's an adventure and it's fun. But the problem is like the danger or like getting weird parasites from drinking the water somewhere or something like that.
Yeah,
you could just be in the jungle, like climbing those weird temples that we haven't found yet or something like that.
Yeah,
you could
just drinking stagnant water. Yeah. Oh, it tastes like Kool-Aid.
You could take it in this whole opposite direction. I actually thought it was great too that he fucking was like, I'm gonna go like be in all these accidents, call you a claims adjuster and all that stuff, and that was his dumb fucking way. Like that's what you use immortality for, is to get like to settle out of court for. Well,
I think it was that it's like, well, I want the thrill and to test this out, and let me get some money. Just picture a dude like this though, like in like I don't know, in the Amazon with just a knife, and he just waits for like jaguars to attack him, and then just stabs as they're biting in futility.
Just biting nothing.
Oh, all I do is kill. Big game hunter just fucking
you can have a lot
his
of fun
hands. Well, how'd you choke that alligator? With my fist. I just put it in his mouth until he
Put my
died.
fist in his throat, and he looked at me like, "What?" Yeah, that's great. And it's like, well, can you really afford to spend all that time doing that? And you're like, yeah, my investments are slowly maturing over the next 100 years while I'm in the jungle having all this fun.
There's an episode of Futurama where he puts like has like 97 cents in the bank, but then 1,000 years go by and he has like $8 million or something.
Like, oh yeah, cool. I have enough money to do this.
And like I was like, well, that's crazy, stupid bullshit. And then I googled like, how much would he really have? And Reddit's like, no, he would have that much. This show is run by mathematicians. And I'm like, holy shit.
Futurama's weird like that.
But like, who would have thought that 97 cents would turn to $8.5 million?
I think it's like 3,000 years he's frozen for, or is it just? Or is it?
I thought it was the year 3000.
Is it the year 3000?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's only 1,000. I guess that they did the math. There's a lot of shit like that, though, where it's like, oh, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we can both be expressed for the sum of two primes. Ha, 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 ha. And then you look it up, and it's like, no, yes, they can.
There's a lot of weird shit on the boards that are
binary and shit, and it's like, no, that is binary for that sentence that he's joking that it is. And it's like, oh, which I appreciate.
I love it. And so this episode was pretty good. No real complaints. Do you have any final thoughts on episode 6 of the Twilight Zone, 1959?
So when I saw that I had to pause it like 4 seconds in to do something and come back.
Okay.
And I saw that it was called Escape Clause.
I noticed that as well.
And I thought like, oh, is this the one where the guy plays pool and shit? Because I actually I remember very few of these episodes. I'm not even sure if I've seen them all. So I was, and then like I hit play and I was like, nope, or something like that, like immediately. Like, okay, fuck. So we're still waiting for that one. But like I said, this one was almost just as good as that. This is standard peak. If someone's like, what is the Twilight Zone? How are the episodes? How are they structured? What is it? Whatever. It's like, yeah, someone gets something or something happens, and then it's like, oh, not quite what I thought. Now I'm fucked. Oh no, Twilight Zone. That's like Twilight Zone.
What's the Twilight Zone? Well, it's interesting characters, great monologues, and some cool shit. Done.
Exactly, and this is like quintessential, essential Twilight Zone.
So let us know in the comments below what you guys thought about this episode, and until next time, don't die in a fire. We'll see you next week.
We're going to escape clause out of this video.